I want to introduce to you a supermodel where I learned a growth from. And this is something that I learned when I did my strategic marketing, a master's in strategic marketing from the University of Southern Queensland, Australia, right? So most of you, I'm not going to bore you guys, right? So some of you who did some form of marketing or strategic business, whatever, you might have come across this guy, the legendary American Russian. And he's the father of strategic management, right? Imagine, and he's not even American. He was from Russia, and he's Igor Anzov. And he came up with this amazing model, right? This matrix, which I use, throughout the years. Before I studied strategic marketing, we've already been doing what he had done in this model that I want to show you, but it's easier for me to explain to you guys, right? So this is what we call the Anzov matrix. There's two parts to it. So the dimensions that we've got to think about, hey, you know what? I've got to understand my product. And the second dimension is I've got to understand my market, the market that I serve. So we've got two parts of the products and two parts of the market. We've got the existing product, and hey, can we come up with a new product, right? And similarly, when we are analyzing our markets, can we look into the existing market that we're serving right now? Or hey, could we explore a new market that maybe could bring some new revenue in, right? I realize the two quadrants on the top is the easier one. The two quadrants below, it's the tricky one. And there's one of the quadrant can be very, very scary because you can lose a lot of business. So you got to pay attention. So first, now imagine this, the first quadrant is you've got existing products right now or services, and you want to serve your existing market a little bit more. So for example, if I am selling a certain product, let's for example, you're selling photocopier machines, and you are serving factories in Shah Alam. So you could see that we're trying to segmentize our market based on the location, and second, based on the kinds of users, so industrial users. So you could really round up, there's maybe 50 factories in that area of segment that your market that you're serving, and I'm only serving 20 of them. So imagine that. So right now you've got to think of a way to reach out to the next 30, the next, or serve all 50 factories. Does that make sense? So this strategy, all you need is aggression. All you need is what? If you are hungry enough for that market, you want to grow, this is not even talking about disruption yet, right? I'm not even talking about disruption. You want to grow your business, you've got to think about that. You've got to think about being more aggressive. So there was one of this market that we were in. We were in the security industry, right? Security business. And one of the markets that we wanted to specialize in was a very niche education market, and we controlled more than 40% of the market. And imagine there were 800 companies, but we alone controlled almost 50% of that market right there. And this is a nationwide market. So when we were coming into the market, we were so aggressive until the point, let me tell you guys this, we were closer to the clients than the clients were even closer to the current service provider. Imagine that. So when the time has come for renewal of services, who do you think would have a better chance at it? So aggression is it. If you are really hungry for that market, then this is what we call the market penetration strategy. This is really cool. So the second one is, hey, you know what? I've already controlled a significant portion of my business, the segment that I want to serve. Now, is there a new product or new service that I can offer to the existing market? This is the fun part. That's why I said the top part of the quadrants are really fun stuff. So what we did was, hey, you know what? Since we're going to control a certain segment of a certain industry, a certain niche, hey, I come up with new products. Hey, you know what? We told our clients, the security industry can't work just with human beings. We've got to complement it with technology. Then we started coming into the market with more of security systems, and we control a bigger portion of that, and we provided most of the security systems. By the way, I was the one who installed the security system for a building that you would all be dependent on. Every time you fly, you take off and you land, you need a control tower at the KLIA, yes? So I installed the security system there, the door access. Some of the things that I do as a business, right? Okay, so when we've already penetrated the market, then you can it's easier to sell to your existing customer, yes? But some of us don't think about that. Some of us think about other things that I'm going to share later, right? So this is what I call the product development strategy, which is really, really fun. So just because of time, I'm just gonna go through the two other ones really quickly. And coming back to the existing product, hey, you know what? We've already covered a lot, a bigger portion of a certain industry, a certain segment. Now I want to look at a different segment. So maybe I'll look into security services for the industries, for hotels, for shopping malls. So those are the other stuff, and this is what we call the market development strategy, right? And this is a new market that you can look into. Maybe since we're talking about disruption, new market that you want to disrupt, right? Okay, remember that I told you there's one quadrant that you have to be really careful. And all these quadrants that I've shown so far has made me really good money, made me millions, right? We're turning over millions of ringgit every year. But that final one quadrant is that one quadrant that always once in a while reminds me, hey Ahyat, not everything you touch turns to gold, and you've got to really think about which things that you come in, which is new products for a new market, and that's what we call the diversification strategy. Most of the time, when I lose money, is when I want to diversify. So I'm going to tell you one business that we lost 250,000 ringgit recently. Well, and I'm not shy to tell you guys about that, because the moment you hear a guru, a person go on stage and say, I've never made a mistake in my life, you should listen to me, that's the first person you shouldn't listen to. Yeah, so I've got an uncle, a friend of mine actually, who makes more than 10 million ringgit in stock market, investing in stock market, right? And he says, the moment you hear, I've never made a losing trade in the stock market, then you know he's a bluff, right? He's a phony. So we went into fashion. We wanted to try fashion, and because I wanted to mingle around with the artists and the celebrities, and it really didn't work out. It was a good lesson, 250,000 ringgit worth of lesson, which I could have spent on property, but instead, yeah. So that's diversification is going to be something very, very careful that you have to be very careful about, and that's the ends of market.